Okay, so we're going to continue where we picked up from or left off yesterday. We did up to, let's see, 8. Is that the next one that we were on? All right, make sure I had the correct spot. Let's find the magnitude with label and direction of the vector. So let's go back over these. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Give the angle, and you're going to give a direction. So much like west of, or north of west, or north of east, etc. This, find the magnitude first. We would take the square root of x squared. This is your change in x. This is your change in y. So the formula said change in x squared plus change in y squared. It's just a distance formula. So the magnitude for this one would equal 20 squared plus 22 squared. You can go ahead and type all that on your calculator. Oh, we'll just put the answer in the blank here. Second, x squared. And just go ahead and type in the 20 squared plus 22 squared. And then we got 29.7. And it needs to have the same label as this. So 29.7 miles per hour. Okay, and the angle, which would be here, is going to be found by doing the opposite over adjacent, which would be the tangent of theta, equals 22 over 20. In your ISN, it just tells you do inverse tangent of the change in y over the change in x, and that's what 22 over 20 is. So we're going to be doing inverse tangent of 22 divided by 20 to get that angle. So second tan 22 divided by 20. 47.7 degrees. Now, that's 47.7 degrees, and this is opening to the north of west. Thank you, Chloe. All right, you're going to need to know how to describe those angles properly. Number 9 says write the component form for each vector. Draw this vector from the origin, find the magnitude of the vector, and finally find the angle and then made with the nearest x-axis. So I'm not going to plot these points. I'm going to find the component form. The component form is subtract the x's, which are 3 and -2. But you need to start with the second one because it says vector AB. So -2 minus 3 and y2, 3 minus 1, which is your y1. That simplifies to -5, 2. That'd be left 5 up 2 if we plot it from the origin. And now we're just going to draw a vector there. The value vertically was 2 and horizontally 5, or -5. Now, I'm not going to probably put in the negative sign when I find the angle, though, because this just gives me the direction of the angle, or the direction of the vector. I want to know the angle it's making with the x-axis. So we don't need to put in the negative signs. So we're going to find, let's see, it said to find the magnitude. So let's go ahead and do that. Magnitude would equal the square root of, take the numbers from the component form and square them and add them. You don't even have to put in -5. You could put in +5. When you square a negative, you get a positive. So this should come out to 25 plus 4, the square root of 29, which is about 5.4, I believe. So I'll show you what I was doing. Square root of 29, 5.4. Okay, then we find the angle measure. That would be second tangent y over x, 2 over -5. Now you can just type 2 over 5, and I'll show you why it won't matter. If you hit second tangent 2 over 5, you're going to get the positive angle that I'm looking for. If you hit second tangent 2 over divided by -5, you will get the same answer, except it's going to be negative. You don't want a negative angle. The negative sign for X just tells you what quadrant we're in. Okay, so you can omit the negative sign on the answer for the angle. 21.8 degrees. Now, I'm going to go ahead and practice with you telling the direction if you were to do it off north, south, east, west. So this would be opening to the north from the west. Okay, so that'd be 21.8 degrees north of west. Now, the question actually only asks for this answer and the component form and the magnitude. Okay, number 10 is the same question with different numbers. So we're going to go ahead and first do the component form. So we're going to do 3 minus 0, 5 minus 1, and that would be 3, 4. We plot that point and then connect a vector to it from the origin. The vertical change in y was 4, the horizontal was 3. So the magnitude will be the square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. That gives you the square root of 25, and that is 5. I went kind of fast. I've done these a lot of times, but we keep getting that 9 plus 16 is 25, square root of 25 is 5. All right, so I've got two of the answers now. Got that component form, the magnitude, and now I'm going to get the angle. So I do second tangent of the change in y, which is 4, over the change in x, which is 3. Second tangent of 4/3 on your calculator should be getting 53.1 degrees. Are we all good? If I wanted to describe this angle right here, which is what I just found, it would be opening towards the north from the east. So this would be 53.1 degrees north of east. I'm just practicing with you. It didn't ask for that direction, but we did it. Okay, write the component. It's another one. Same direction. So let's go. We're going to subtract the x's, 3 minus -2, and the y's, 1 minus 2. That gives us 5, -1. The magnitude, the square root of 5 squared plus -1 squared. Now, -1 squared is positive 1. This should be the square root of 25 plus 1, which is 26. And that's going to be about 5.1, which I'll double check. Yep, 5.1. Now, if you were typing it all at once, some of you have had trouble with doing the distance formula, which is what this basically is. You need, if you're going to put in that -1, you got to close parentheses around it and square it. And you'll get it right. Excuse me. Excuse me, I got this coming. The blowers came on. All right, now I need to find the angle. Oh, I didn't plot it yet. 5, -1. Oh my goodness, that's going to be a skinny little vector coming this way. And I want to find this angle right here. And that was 5, and this was 1, if you will, or -1. We can just use it as a positive value and do inverse tangent of 1/5. So second tan of 1 divided by 5. And that's 11.3 degrees. If you did put in the -1, you would have gotten -11.3, and then you'll just write positive 3.3 degrees. Okay, and that would be directions. This one's opening down from the east, so it's going towards the south. So that would be 11.3 degrees south of east. Okay. Quit texting, put our phones away. Take a break from that. 12 and 13. Yes, I can see. Add these. It says add the vectors. And you add. All you do is add the parts that match. So we would do the 2 plus negative 4 and 5 plus 12. That gives you negative 217. That's all you do to add vectors. Add the corresponding components. So what would 13 be? 1 and negative 2. You don't even have to write this. You probably can do it in your head. So 1 plus negative 2 should have negative 1 and 14. All right. Now, that part was the homework. I'm going to give you some work time today to do it. I will also be happy to answer any questions you have on it. So if you just want to even check an answer or whatever, but let's get busy working on this packet. This is going to be 2. We probably will have a mini quiz tomorrow on this stuff just to see if how you're doing with it. And then our unit test is in a couple of, well, actually 3 days from today. We'll be reviewing on Thursday and maybe even probably starting tomorrow. That worksheet that you picked up today, more vectors, I can answer questions on that too if you need it. And we can do that as well tomorrow.